The Xbox handheld is not a first-party device, meaning Xbox will not be producing this themselves, but a third-party manufacturer will be. How does this affect the gamer, such as yourself? Check out Dustin for a more detailed and a journalistic take on it, which I will link in the description below. My opinion is that if Xbox takes a look at the current market, you have the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and Lenovo Legion Go, to name a few, and soon we'll have the Nintendo Switch 2. Take the best part from each device, add the Xbox UI, add a desktop mode, so we can have the ability to add things such as the Steam Store, Epic Game Store, and the Emu Deck. Call it Xbox H and sell it for $500 to $700 depending on the storage space. So I was literally about to post a video on the Xbox handheld, a different take on it, not really news, not really telling you the breaking news or anything like that, more of my future takes on it, what I want out of an Xbox handheld in the future, and comparing it to the current market, to some of the devices that are currently in the market. I was literally editing this video when I realized that Kinda Funny had a new video for the handheld plan. So I decided to pause my editing. I'm gonna add this in there somewhere, and then we'll go from there for the rest of the video. But I wanted to at least live react to this before posting my video. So here we go.
6 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Let's get into that good shit, all right?
Yeah.
First off, let's start right here. Project Keenan or Keenan?
It's spelt Kenan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Keenan Thompson. Like, come on. Like, you know,
But that's
what I
not
mean?
how
Let's
you
show
spell
some all that respect.
It's not how you spell Keenan, though.
But it's a code name. Just call it whatever the fuck you want. They should have called it
But, like,
Keenan.
what is
I'm going to Phil Spencer. Phil, you fucked up. Project
I mean,
Keenan is a much better name than Kenan.
Kenan is obviously a reference to something that I don't understand.
Is it?
It must be. They don't just pull project names out of their asses, except for when they do. You don't just pull Kenan out your ass.
It's Google Kenan. What is popping
George
up?
Frost Kenan. He's a historian and former counselor of the United States Department of State.
That's not it. They don't want that.
He was best known as an advocate of a policy of containment of Soviet expansion during the Cold War. So the handheld.
He's anti-commie.
The handheld. So the Cold War is between Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo.
Sure.
And the handheld is going to contain the expansion of Nintendo Switch 2. So that's why they call it Project Kenan.
I don't like it. We could have done better.
Yeah.
Number 1, Xbox handheld Project Kenan is reportedly being made by Asus. This is Alessio Palumbo over at WCCF Tech. And we had this conversation before. It's the ROG Ally is supposed to be ROG. Is Asus supposed to be Asus?
That one I'm not as sure of. I feel like that one you can pronounce it as however you want.
Asus.
Asus.
ROG
Spades?
Ally.
It's definitely not ROG Ally.
I'm calling it Asus.
It is here.
Earlier this week, Windows Central's Jez Corden published a report detailing Microsoft's plans for the next generation Xbox, as well as the long-awaited Xbox handheld. As for the former, the report said a successor to the Series X is already in the works for a targeted 2027 release window. When it comes to the latter, Microsoft is allegedly planning its own handheld system, also due in 2027. But the report also mentioned the Xbox-partnered handheld device, Project Oh, now it's spelled different here.
Once you read further, you'll understand why. There's reasoning here.
I fucking can't wait. Codename Project Keenan, after Keenan Thompson, I assume, due this year with the partnership of PC OEM manufacturer. I want to give you that entire sentence again without me being a goofball. But the report also mentioned an Xbox partnered handheld device, codenamed Project Keenan, due this year with a partnership of a PC OEM manufacturer. A few hours ago, The Verge's Tom Warren shared his own report in the latest Notepad newsletter. First, the project's correct code name is Kenan, not Keenan. Second, his sources revealed that the Xbox handheld's manufacturer is Asus, A-S-U-S. The device will run on Windows, of course, but it will feature an interface that is very much reminiscent of Xbox consoles. This is reportedly part of a larger project codenamed Project Bayside to unify Xbox and Windows under a unified Xbox user interface, regardless of the device being used. Warren also wrote that Microsoft is working to ensure a single store for games and an easier way for game developers to create titles for handhelds, console-like hardware, and PCs. At CES 2025, Microsoft's Jason Ronald, Vice President of Xbox Gaming Devices and Ecosystem, openly teased this concept when he said they've worked hard to bring the best of console and PC together, drawing on their long-time experiences on both platforms as part of their Xbox handheld efforts. Right now, Windows-powered PC handhelds don't really offer the most user-friendly experience, and Microsoft aims to address that with this initiative. Following Warren's report,
The one exception to that about not being too user friendly is Steam Deck. Honestly, Steam Deck, the Steam OS, very clean and allows you to play your games. Very seamless, almost like jumping into a console. So that's the one caveat I want to jump in right there.
Corden wrote another article to admit that the colleague was right on the Project Keenan codename. He also corroborated that Asus is indeed the chosen manufacturer and offered an estimate on the likely pricing between $499 and $599.
$499 and $599. Which puts it, if I am correct, above the Xbox Series S, but below the Xbox Series X, if I remember correctly.
This could hint that the hardware could be using AMD's Z2 Go chipset previously seen on the Lenovo Legion Go.
Okay, so here's some specs that we're getting now that we weren't aware of before.
S. The Z2 Go chipset is slightly slower than the Z1 Extreme and quite a bit slower than its larger sibling, the Z2 Extreme. However, it's still more powerful than the APU currently available in Valve's Steam Deck. The Xbox handheld would, therefore...
I love how they call out Steam specifically, because they know that the Steam Deck is the biggest competition for them here. Now, with that being said, $499, $599, and it's stronger. I say that stronger, more powerful than the Steam Deck. Now, let's say that the Xbox handheld, Xbox H, is OLED. It has this chipset. You know, it feels like an Xbox controller, but with a screen in the middle. And it's an OLED for $100, potentially $200 less than the current Steam Deck, like the top of the line Steam Deck. I would say they're gonna offer 500 gigabytes for that price. They're not gonna give it a terabyte. I think if they were to give it a terabyte, it would go up to 699, I would say. But I mean, it sounds good. We still have to see the actual spec sheet, but that sounds good. Let's continue.
Sits somewhere in the middle of the pack when it comes to performance, although again, this information is not at all assured.
A lot going on here.
A lot going on. Where do you want to go?
Project Bayside. Greg, you're the person who I think is probably maybe the most excited for the Xbox handheld that
100%.
I know. What does this do for you as far as seemingly Asus working on their own handheld to come out this year? That is an Xbox handheld, but it's more of a partnered thing under Project Bayside.
Take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Right now, even if we can't get it for review, I'd buy this. If they were like, hey,
Wow.
the Asus Xbox handheld is going live. And again, there's a few little things I need to do of talk to Andy. What it says it's in the middle of the pack. I'm like, all right, that's compared. Like I know
it's better than Steam Deck, but not as good as maybe the Asus ROG Ally.
Is that what we're assuming off
Yeah.
of this? Because it's okay, yeah, because it's the Legion Go in there. I don't know, right? But
Or Legion Go might be.
I am ready right now. I adore my Steam Deck. We did a whole podcast this week, right, about my wish list, which spawned from me. You know,
So they mentioned it there. The Xbox handheld, Xbox H, will be between the Steam Deck and the top of the line ROG Ally or Legion Go. I haven't looked at the report, but that's what they're saying right now. Which, again, for the price, which is cheaper than the top of the line Steam Deck, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Even if you do use Steam OS, you should be. I mean, it's a Steam. Sorry, not a Steam. It's a Windows PC, a more unified Windows PC with Xbox intuitively put into it, but it's still going to be an Xbox PC. So you'll be able to put on the Steam Deck or Steam OS on there. Which again, if you have Steam OS and you have Xbox Game Pass, then this is a no-brainer. And I'm actually looking forward to this now. Let's see what they have to say more.
Try so much stuff on my deck. I'm ready to upgrade my deck. I'm not ready to go to the Steam Deck OLED because I feel like I've waited so long that the next Steam Deck has to be close. And this sounds up my alley. The price point for me sounds up my alley as well, where it's like, you know, I bought the biggest at launch. I bought the biggest Steam Deck they had, right? So I forget that was like $8.99, $7.99, whatever it was. You know what I mean? And it was a huge chance because I was like, I don't know if this is going to pay off for how much I use it. For how much I use it, I'm ready to upgrade and get another one. Being in the middle of the pack, being better, you hope OLED, maybe not, probably not, based on the price point. I don't know. But I'm very interested in the rumors of, or not, the article.
Greg Miller just said something very interesting. OLED versus not OLED for the price of $5.99. Let's say Xbox releases it tomorrow or in the near future for holiday season this year. It is not OLED. $5.99 with a more powerful chip than the Steam Deck. Are you buying that day one? Are you waiting to hear reviews on how well it runs? Because I feel like if it's not OLED, because I currently have the OLED Steam Deck, and if I don't get that on an Xbox device or just on the next device period, then it's not really an upgrade, even if it is a more powerful device, because I'm already used to the graphics that I have right now. So I don't know how you guys feel, but that's just how at least my mentality is right now.
We just read that it's going to be the Xbox interface. It's going to unify Xbox and Windows. I don't know if it was this report. I don't remember because I just read it. But yesterday, reading a bunch of stuff that apparently the rumor is that it's going to also you can boot Steam on it. You can boot other OSs on it, which is exactly what I want. Right now, you know, it is that thing of, hey, here's the avowed codes coming. Okay, great.
Just what I said. You know, it's going to dual boot because it is a Windows PC at the end of the day.
Great. It's going to be games with Windows. Great. Wait, can I link it to my Steam Deck? I got to go into anytime it's like going to desktop mode to do it. I've done desktop mode stuff on my Steam Deck. It's not hard, I know, but it's more the thing of I as a non-PC gamer really don't have that setup ready to go of like, oh, here's my mouse and my keyboard and what I want to do. And like, nor do I have the time for the most part. I understand that sounds ridiculous, but again, like,
you want it to be ready and set to go.
I just want this to be as turnkey as possible. This is why I'm a console gamer. I just want to turn it on and have it work. And I know PC gaming, there's always going to be things that won't do that exactly. But this idea of, cool, Xbox Game Pass is right there. Like right now on my Steam Deck, what I do for the most part, right, is, you know, Xbox Cloud Game. I have those shortcuts through XP Play, right? The remote play cloud streaming service that you can buy off of Steam for $5, and then it like links all your stuff. I use that, and I you know, I'll cloud boot Starfield or whatever I want to play, Forza when Ben wants to play that, and I can remote play to my Xbox, but lots of times my Xbox gets disconnected for a second PlayStation for some reason or some goofy shit I'm doing. So
first world problems there. Gotta disconnect my Xbox so I can connect my second PlayStation 5. Oh no.
Long story short, this sounds great. I want a handheld Xbox. If this is going to be the easiest way to get a handheld Xbox until 2027, apparently, when there's a new Xbox Series X, for lack of a better term, and an official Xbox handheld, okay.
Does that work for you even if if it doesn't play Xbox console games? If this is, hey, this is Xbox PC. Like you're maybe gonna get the console games on the 2027 thing, but for this, you are linking to your it's the same thing as opening the Xbox app on your PC. Are you okay with that as well?
1000%. Okay. Especially, you know, I was so nice to have that Razer Blade, right? The Razer Blade 18.
Blessing brings up a good point right there. For those of you that aren't in the Xbox ecosystem right now, there is a difference in the games you get on Game Pass on PC versus Game Pass on an actual Xbox console. Now, I'm not very into the Xbox Game Pass that much. I'll jump in and out every so often. Most of my gameplay is on Steam, primarily on Steam, but there are some differences there where she does bring up a good point is the version that's coming out in 2025 may not have the Xbox exclusives that the Xbox consoles do have. Is that a game breaker for you, or are you willing to, again, just play what is available on Xbox PC version? Now, for me, again, who I'm playing a lot on the go because of travel for work, and only play on the weekends primarily for my actual PC here. I mean, to me, if I can connect to the cloud and play those games, and I get, at least anywhere 30 to 60 frames per second, depending on the game that I'm playing, with 1080p resolution, I think I'm fine with that. Again, with an Xbox cloud gaming handheld. But if I don't get the exclusives, which again, if you're into the know of what's going on with the Xbox and the gaming industry, you're seeing that a lot of their exclusives are actually going over to PlayStation and other manufacturers such as Nintendo. So is there really an exclusive left apart from Halo and Forza? No, I think Forza has actually got announced that's going to PlayStation as well. So is there anything apart from Halo and Gears of War that's left on Xbox? So again, I believe that if what you're looking for is a single device, again, based on what we're being told right now, if you're looking for a single device that you can have your SteamOS, your Xbox Game Pass, your Epic Game Store. I don't know if you can have PlayStation on PC, but let's say if there's PlayStation, it'll be on PC as well. But you can play some PlayStation games from the SteamOS, and all your other game launches on a PC. I mean, again, this is kind of like a no-brainer. This kind of resolves all your issues. And for those of you that emulate as well, you can emulate on PCs. So again, it just provides a full-on solution that currently Steam Deck doesn't have, which is not a very seamless way of playing your Xbox Game Pass games or Xbox games in general. Now, with that being said, I personally would probably wait till the 2027 version comes out, where it does integrate a bit more. They see how the 2025 version really plays out, and then you can make an actual investment. Plus, like I said, I would probably get maybe not the top of the line version, unless there is a huge difference between the top of the line and middle of the pack for the Xbox handheld. But I would probably go for the middle of the pack, because if you think about it, it's going to have an internal storage, and if you can add an SD card to it to expand your storage, you're going to have minimum, you can have a terabyte, I would say, of storage. And then if you add a second terabyte with an SD card, you're at 2 terabytes. And again, if you can, and then make it upgradable like the Steam Deck, then you'll be able to upgrade the parts as well. So it's looking good for the Xbox future, but we need to hear more.
Laptop for my Avowed review. And the thing that I love so much about Xbox is the Xbox ecosystem, is this interface that just works. You know what I mean? Like, it's the, a joke, obviously, but it seamlessly does it. I'm playing Avowed on the Razer Blade, and I stop and I go to, and I'm playing through the PC, version of it on Razer, and then I go over to my Xbox Series X, and there's my save, and everything's there, and you go all around. The way Xbox currently works, it's gonna work fine. I don't care. Yeah. I think there is no difference for me for an Xbox PC game or an Xbox game, because it's just an Xbox game. Whether I am cloud streaming it, using a remote play, playing it on the system, playing it on the Go, whatever. Like, No, I have no problem with that. It would have solved my problem with Avowed, where I was like, shit, I want to play this on a plane for a review. What do I do?
Yeah. I think for me, I'm on the side of I'm excited about the idea of an Xbox handheld. I think I am more of a I'm gonna wait till 2027 for the actual official Xbox handheld to come out, because I have many questions about what is that gonna be, right? I think the reporting of, hey, the Xbox is gonna come, the next gen Xbox is planned for 2027 alongside an original Xbox handheld. That for me screams more of there's gonna be way deeper compatibility there than like what you would expect out of
if
a
Xbox is
Steam
making
Deck.
an official Xbox handheld,
Yeah.
to your point, then it's got to play my Xbox games normally, not just this PC Game Pass stuff.
Especially for putting it out alongside the next gen Xbox. For me, that gives the impression of, oh, I'm gonna be able to play those next gen games on whatever that handheld
100%.
is. And if that's the case, I have so many questions. One of those big questions is price, because this right here, right, they're talking about likely the pricing being between $499 and $599. I honestly look at that and I go, oof, man, that's expensive. And I say that even knowing that.
How much you pay for your Steam Deck?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is, I know like the Steam Deck and Asus and all this stuff have been expensive, but like I think maybe years past of the Steam Deck being out for a few years. I forget. I think I got the medium Steam Deck. I got either the medium or the lower end Steam Deck. Barry knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I didn't get the Grande. And I forget how much, chat. Tell me how much the lower end Steam Deck was at launch. Because I don't think I paid $600 for it.
Yeah.
But I guess as we get further, right, I think those prices are getting up higher and higher, probably because of tariffs, probably because of inflation, probably because of many different aspects of it. But I think part of me was hoping that, all right, if I'm getting something that's going to be comparable to a Steam Deck, we'd see that price come down a little bit over the years. So to look at 500, 600, I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way I'm paying that out of pocket.
I still feel it, and it's just. Again, I guess we should throw up.
Okay, $399. So yeah, it was expensive for the lower end. That means the high end was. I can look this up.
I want to say it was $800, wasn't it?
It was rough, yeah.
I remember Jen had to like push me. I don't like spending money on myself, so she was very much like, no, do it. You'll.
And I guess what that comes back
right
to,
now it's $649 for a 1 terabyte OLED Steam Deck.
Yeah, so I think it probably is more so just of a competition thing for me then of, well, I own a Steam Deck. How much I want an Xbox handheld. How much?
So there you have it. So the current 1 terabyte OLED Steam Deck as of this moment is $649. And the Xbox, again, we don't know if it's going to have an OLED screen on it, but if it does, it's supposed to be more powerful. And if it has the OLED, better bang for your buck than the current Steam Deck OLED. Now that is very enticing. And I may have to retract my previous statement on having to wait till 2027 at that point. Because legitimately, I played more games on Xbox Game Pass on my Steam Deck than I did Xbox Game Pass on my actual PC. So again, we'll see. We'll see what I have to wait to see what more they're gonna have when they actually do release it. But I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Utility am I gonna get from the Asus one that's coming out this year versus just waiting 2 years?
To jump in here in the live chat, Calv says the Asus handheld isn't going to be what Greg wants. The Xbox integration will be surface level. I want to be clear that it's not so much I turn it on and it's like, oh, it's an Xbox. I mean, I'm just excited that I can use natively the Xbox PC Game Pass stuff and have Steam and have, I would assume, other stuff that I don't use. Yeah, Epic maybe, or the. I know Steam Deck's gonna have it, but they don't have it yet. NVIDIA GeForce Now.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I can do that right now through my Steam Deck, but you have to hop through hoops. NVIDIA has said that this year they are gonna launch a native app, but it's like, I want everything native. I want everything. I click the icon and I go, and I don't want it to be that I have to read a tutorial to go in and figure out how to do it, which again isn't hard, but again, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like that's so. To Calv's question, I'm not expecting it to be an Xbox in my hands. I'm expecting it to run Xbox PC Game Pass.
And you're saying like
Xbox
from the
PC.
get-go, like you boot up the thing and you're automatically booting into Xbox.
Yeah, I assume you choose, right? Or I open it up and it is just a screen of like kind of like with my Portal right now, where when you relink it, it's like, do you want to connect to a PS5 or do you want a cloud game? Like I would imagine you're gonna have bubbles like that because we all know how good the Vita bubbles look. Let's get some bubbles up there, right?
I do think that's a little bit of a.
So for those of you that may or may have not dual booted your Steam Deck at one point, which I did at one point, I had both Windows and I had Steam on there, the Steam OS, and there is a lot of workaround to get that to run. I haven't done it since the first year the Steam Deck came out, so I don't know how easy or less painless, or less pain it is now. But the one thing I will say is that when Greg Miller says, "Hey, I want to be able to just press a button, even if I just log in, like he just mentioned right now on the PlayStation Portal, I turn it on and it automatically tells me, you want to do Windows, do you want to do Steam, Epic Game Launcher, either one of those I think would be good. But I think the best way to move forward with that will be, it opens up again a very linear, a very simplistic Windows background, and it has your games on there. Now, for those of you that have an EMU deck, which is the software to be able to do different emulators, if you do that at the beginning of that, it tells you, oh, what do you want to add? Do you want to add this emulator, this emulator? Do you want to add this cloud service, that cloud service? I think that when your Xbox handheld, your Xbox H starts up in your first initial installing everything, it should do something like that. Hey, do you want to install your Epic Game Store on here? Log in now. You want your Steam, log in now. You want your obviously your Xbox Game Pass, log in now. And whatever else you want to do. Oh, you want Xbox or not Xbox, you want some cloud service on here as well to be an icon in your menu. You can include that now. You want YouTube TV, Crunchyroll, ESPN, etc. I think that would be a very, very clean version of this Xbox handheld if it allows you to do some sort of installation, like preloading everything up front, so that then after that your Xbox handheld is good to go. I think that would be great. I think that would be the best way forward for it. And then, like I said, it gives you like an Xbox UI where it has all these different icons of everything installed. And then let's say in the future you're like, oh wait, I forgot to install that Epic Game Store, or didn't install the Steam store at the beginning. It allows you to go into the Microsoft desktop where then, okay, hey, you can reinitialize this. What do you want to install now? And then you can, again, from a select menu, add those things. I really think that would be great.
Dream. I do think it's going to be the thing of, I think by default, you're going to boot into Xbox OS. But if you want to boot up into Steam, it is going to be a thing of, all right, I'm going to boot out of it, boot into Windows, and then I'm going to go click on the Steam app.
Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
Just Josh says, ROG, the ROG Ally, which does that already, Greg. And then Cal says, you can do that now.
I was going to bring that
Windows
up with
handhelds.
ROG Ally.
Again, but I hear you and I agree with you. I've already invested in this Steam Deck, so I'm trying to get as much juice out of the orange before I move to the next thing. So this being brand new, again, we would have to get official specs, here's the breakdown thing. If they put this on a chart and it's like, yeah, it's pretty good, but for $200 more, a ROG Ally that's already out, blah blah blah. Okay, great.
For your case scenario, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
because when we got the Asus ROG Allies sent to us a few months ago, or about a month and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah,
times a flat surface. That's not the right phrase, but we got the Asus ROG Ally, and I brought it home and I looked at it and I looked at my Steam Deck, and like for a second I was like, why the fuck do I have this? I should just give this to Kevin or give this to somebody else. But it was in the middle of the avowed review period.
Yeah.
And I went and I downloaded Xbox, the app, right? Or I might have already had it, but I downloaded avowed to my Asus ROG Ally, and I was like, oh, this is nice. Like, and for you as Greg Miller, who's somebody who loves to play Starfield, as somebody who like, we joked about it at the beginning, but you are like an Xbox player. Yeah. And I think this year you have a lot of Xbox games that you're probably in particular looking forward
Midnight,
to.
What up?
Yeah.
Oblivion Next Story.
I think
Outer Worlds too.
Like an Asus or ROG Ally, or even more in particular, whatever this handheld is going to be, is probably going to suit your needs a lot.
and some people are in here like, oh, but they already we know we've said that already. I think maybe you missed the point that I just want it to work without me doing it because I don't have time. How little time do I have, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs? When Bless got the ROG Ally sent to him by Asus, I did too, but my charging port doesn't work, and so it has sat under my desk. I need to mail it at FedEx to get it to replace it to do the damn. It's like. But I don't have time to print the label to do the thing to go to FedEx. It's just too much going on. There's a giant stream on Monday. I'm performing in Chicago in April, kindoffunny.com/Chicago. I got a trip to Montreal. I got this, that, and the other. I was in a goddamn movie. There's too much going on. I just need it to be fucking easy.
I am, out of all this that we're talking about, right? I'm mainly excited for 2027. I want to see what that official Xbox handheld.
To Greg's defense here, a lot of people that have day-to-day jobs that require you, A, you travel to work, B, you do the work throughout the hours, and then C, you drive back home or get back on transportation back home, whatever that is. And then you got to do the adult thing of cooking, cleaning, kids, pets, etc. Time is very limited to have actual fun, actual playtime. And when you say, hey, I want to just be able to make it work, just press a button and it works, again, we all want that. We want easiness, right? There are some of us like me. That's why I got the Steam Deck, and I love the Steam Deck. I love to tinker. I love to go in there, mess with things, watch YouTube videos, and see what other people are doing, what other people are modifying their Steam Deck. But I understand from Greg's perspective of, sometimes you just want to be able to sit down, press play, and it plays. When things are broken on the Steam Deck, for whatever reason, I got to go in there and tinker with it because I've moved things around and I got to refresh it or change things. So I understand that the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go can do these things already of dual booting. Again, I did that on my Steam Deck. But if there were an easier way without having to tinker as much, I think that would be beneficial to all of us. I think we would all like that. Just a little bit of easiness. Again, I'm taking a page out of the EmuDeck software where they allow you to pre-download some of this cloud services and other emulators. Like, why can't somebody do that? Why can't Steam, Valve, or Xbox, Microsoft, somebody just do that, make it easier for us, which will then entice us to get your device, whatever device it is, just 2 cents there.
Looks like that, original Xbox handheld looks like. I'm also just curious on what the next gen of Xbox looks like. 2027, that seems about right? 7 years since the launch of Xbox Series X. I think I was more predicting 2026 because I always thought that maybe as Xbox you want to get out there a bit sooner than PlayStation would, and who knows, you might still make it in 2027. Maybe PS6 isn't until 2028 or something like that. I have no idea, but I think that lines up. That sounds about right. I'm very fascinated for what that's going to look like. I would hope that at that point it is all steam ahead on what this current vision of Xbox is. We've talked about it being play anywhere. We've talked about cloud integration. We've talked about all these things. We've talked about Xbox, their strategy being more so, rather than, hey, as opposed to just selling boxes, let's sell the ecosystem. Let's sell 100%. The experience of Xbox. I would hope that by the time we get to 2027 and you're ushering in the next gen, that message not only is clear, not only is understandable, but it is achieved. And that is going to determine a lot of what I think that launch is going to look like, right? How much of it is going to feel like a, hey, next gen Xbox Series X, or how much of it is going to be, hey, we have a new suite of hardware coming. It's the handheld, it's the new box, it's the dongle, or whatever it is. I'm so fascinated by the marketing, what the marketing is going to be of that.
I feel this partnership with Asus to get it there is nice. Obviously, for me, as a console plebe, the dream is the Xbox handheld that natively runs Xbox games. I don't need to, whatever. I don't need Xbox Game Pass PC. I'm just using Xbox. And again, it's getting this is kind of a futzy argument because of whatever. But it is that idea of, okay, cool, it does this. 2027 for a dedicated Xbox handheld seems so far away for how much we've talked about it.
Well,
have we
been talking about that, or have we been talking about this Asus thing?
great question.
Yeah,
That's a great question.
Because like
Yeah.
the vibe I've always gotten from the conversations and reports and everything is that it's happening right now. It's happening soon. It's happening
yeah,
this
it's
year.
imminent, right?
Yeah, and I think those conversations were probably more about this, but like an Xbox thing is happening. And yeah, like it feels far away, but also I'm kind of excited for it being far away because the further away it is, it coming out alongside the next gen, I think just means more compatibility for next gen. Like I think that is going to be us setting ourselves up for, hey, this is a thing that you're going to be able to use for 4 to 7 years.
My concern with the Xbox dedicated handheld in 2027 alongside the Xbox Series X2 for X2, that's cool. My concern there is like, are they going to be like, cool, we did it, we made an Xbox handheld, and it's slightly more powerful than an Xbox Series S.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I know, and then I'm splitting hairs because I don't know how much more, I don't know where in the scheme of Series S to X and Asus Xbox handheld falls.
See, I think it'll be more powerful than the Series. I think it'll take the role that the Series S did this gen of, this is going to be your lowest SKU Xbox thing.
Brilliant. It's got an HDMI out in the dock or whatever, right? It's like the Switch, plug it in, that upscale, the dock will upscale it to whatever.
And we are very much encouraging developers to like, hey, this is the lowest SKU right here. You got to make sure that you're hitting this. You got to make sure that you're supporting the Xbox handheld. My question then becomes, you got to make it powerful in that case. How powerful can you make it to where it's still affordable and makes sense? Because if an Xbox handheld comes out and let's say the Xbox Series X2 is $700 and the Xbox handheld is $650, does that make sense? Can that work?
Yeah.
Like, do you need to put out another Series S that is the $400 entry point? We'll see.
We will see. We will see. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Care.
Whoa.
Hello?
Hello,
Paris?
God.
Okay, I'll end it there, but it's very interesting. The conversation will keep going. So this runs for about 20 minutes. The video of kind of funny from about 11:20 to about 31:20. For the Xbox handheld specifically. For those of you that want to go over and watch them, support them if you can. But I will think about more about what is in store for us as gamers. And if you think about it, the more handhelds that are out in the market, the better it is for us, a whole supply and demand ecosystem there. And if this Xbox device comes out, maybe not the 2025 version, but the 2027 version, where it does, as Blessing said, integrate between your console and your handheld device of basically playing anywhere at any time on the go. I mean, that's brilliant. That'd be great. I might, not saying I will, but I might dip my toes back into the Xbox ecosystem even more at that point. As of right now, I am very invested into the Steam store and the Steam ecosystem there. So for me to make the switch, the handheld would make me do that. A better version of a Steam Deck would make me want to switch over to this Xbox H. So again, I'm looking forward to see what Xbox has in store. And again, this one I was about to post a video and saw this video from Kinda Funny, so I paused from my normal video. So if the transition here is a little weird, I apologize, but thank you. So this was supposed to be a 15-minute video at most, but as said, prior to this, Kinda Funny posted a video which I wanted to react, especially because it seemed that they had new news on the Xbox handheld, which should have transitioned before this. And now I want to talk about what my initial video was going to be about, which is the future Xbox handheld device that we would like to have as gamers. Right now they're speculating the 2025 version that's going to be releasing. Again, that is going to be made by Asus, a third-party provider, not by Xbox themselves. So with that in mind, I think we can all agree that we do not want Microsoft Windows on the Xbox handheld device as it is right now. We want a more simplistic, more intuitive version of it that we can go into a desktop mode, kind of like on the Steam Deck, and tinker or move things around that we need to. But for the most part, what we want is that Xbox UI for gaming specifically. Again, sort of like it is right now for the Steam Deck, where we go into Steam OS and we just click on our games to play. That's what we want. Something more intuitive, but that also gives us the ability to install Steam OS, or at least the Steam Store, Epic Game Store, and any other launcher that we may or may not want on there. Maybe the ability to add a few additional items, such as some cloud services, YouTube TV, Netflix, etc., to name a few. Now, when it comes to the screen, I think we all want an OLED screen. Now, we can argue on the size, the weight, and everything, but I think the top things that we all want are an Xbox controller, because it feels good in your hands, but with a screen in the middle, an OLED screen, roughly 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte in size, and that has the refresh rate of anywhere between 60 to 120. I don't think we need more than that, again, for a handheld. I think 60 frames per second, a 60 hertz refresh rate on the monitor itself or screen would be more than ideal. Again, for a handheld that's, small, you don't really need much more than that. Again, I know there's going to be some people that may argue otherwise, but I think we do not need anything more than that, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, I would love the addition of something like the Switch, where you can just sit it down, dock it, and it'll automatically upscale to whatever your monitor is or your TV is. I think something like that would be game changer and would be beneficial for both Xbox and the consumer. I think apart from that, we can talk about battery life, we can talk about the feel of the controller or the handheld itself, the weight, the connectivity, and all that. But essentially, we just want an Xbox handheld device that feels like an Xbox controller, because it does feel good, with a screen in the middle, OLED screen, refresh rate of 60 hertz, can hit consistently 60 frames per second on all their first party games, and some that are third party that actually get put onto the Xbox handheld. But from there on, I think if they allow us to do the ability to customize it like the Steam Deck, swap out parts, add storage, add an SD card, put emulators on this thing, I think they would have the market. I honestly do believe Xbox would own the market at that point. If they allow, most of these things, and obviously priced at a good range, somewhere between $500 to $700, I really do think Xbox will start winning people over again. I know I would definitely look into getting one of those, as I'm codenaming it Xbox H right now. I would definitely get one if it came out as I just described it. Again, we can talk about different portings, different connections that we want on there, but essentially, if we can have an Xbox version of the Nintendo Switch, I think it would be great, and that would win over the market. But let me know what you guys think. I put together a little video here on different concepts, and again, showing you my concept as well as some of the specs. Basically taking all the specs that are out there from an ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, Nintendo Switch 2, again, looking at the connectivity or the playfulness of that, and the Lenovo Legion Go. So this is what I think would be cool to have, but let me know what you guys think. See you in the next one.